So you wanna be a picture book writer, then you gotta write picture books. And you're gonna need a bucket load of bright ideas for titles, plots, and hooks. If you're partial to prose or you're raring to rhyme, then repeat after me, it's a challenge, but I'm gonna tackle each story 1 month at a time with 12 by 12.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the 12 by 12 Picture Book Podcast. So excited to have Alyssa Reynoso-Morris with us today. She gave an incredible webinar at 12 by 12 called Getting the Gig. Hi, Alyssa.
Hello.
And this is our official after party where we get to dig into some of the nuggets, many nuggets that were provided during the webinar. Alyssa is just an incredible, prolific speaker and writer. Her books are Bold, Brilliant, and Latine, Gloria Presente, Platanos Our Love, and The Bronx is My Home. And I feel certain there are more coming. But what you came to talk to us about was getting speaking gigs as an author. And in this economy, I think it's pretty important that authors think about how they can supplement their income as writers. Also joining us today is the co-host of this podcast, Kelly Panique.
Hello.
And she was also the host of Alyssa's webinar, Getting the Gig. So Kelly, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with some questions?
Yeah, and I have to say this was one jam-packed webinar. So if you have any interest at all in author visits and how to book them, and in all capacities, from panels to schools to book festivals, definitely get this as a resource for yourself, because Alyssa, you shared so much with us. It was amazing. So I thought one thing I'd like to ask you about is, if somebody's just starting out, I think you listed like 9 or 10 different ideas of different gigs that you could go out and try to get. And so if somebody's just starting out, I guess I have 2 questions for you that are kind of similar. One would be, where do you notice that you get the biggest bang for your buck as far as like the time that you invest and the payment that you receive? And we'll just start with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best bang for my buck personally are school visits, visiting schools, because there's just so many schools out there, right? Even within
Right.
neighborhood, within your state, within so like for me, I focus on school visits because one, there are so many of them, but two, it's a in a way it's a slightly easier lift, because with other events you also are responsible for doing marketing. So like, let's say you're doing an event with a bookstore, or you're doing an event with another partner that's expecting like book sales, they're also expecting you to be a partner in the marketing.
Right.
Or like even library events, right? Like they're expecting you to be a partner in the marketing to ensure that the event is a success. Whereas with a school visit, you don't have to do any marketing. It's a lot of logisticals to figure out the schedule and the run of show and all of those things, but the students are already there.
Right.
One thing that I don't have to worry about for those types of events, which is nice. And I do a lot of events that I do marketing for, but it's a nice like balance, right?
Right.
A little bit more logistics heavy, but I don't have to promote because the students are already there. And there are so many schools. Like, you reach out to, 10, 100 schools, you're going to get some bites out of that,
Okay.
So that would be the biggest bang for your buck. But with that said, the caveat is most schools don't want to hire an unknown entity, because schools have, like there's a lot of bureaucracy involved. It's taxpayer dollars that fund these visits. There's a lot of like back end stuff that often authors don't think about, and that's front of mind. So when I first started, before I started reaching out to a lot of schools, I did do a lot of bookstore events just to get like myself out there and my brand out there. Also, because for my first book, Platanos Our Love, it came out in April. April, for those who don't know, is testing season
Oh,
So
right.
those were
Yeah.
deep into standardized test mode. And my next book that comes out, Pieces of Home, also comes out in April. Comes
Oh
out April
gosh.
15th. So it comes out during peak testing season while most schools have already booked their author visits. So while author visits are like technically my bread and butter, when I first started out, it wasn't my key strategy initially because one, I was an unknown, untested entity, and two, because of the timing in which my book came out. And so I did a lot of bookstore events. I did a lot of library events. I got a lot of testimonials from those types of events that I then used
Ah,
to market myself to the school and library
so
market,
smart.
right?
So smart.
So you have to take all of those factors into account,
Right.
right? Like when does your book come out? How much speaking experience you had? I had a ton of speaking experience as like a nonprofit volunteer coordinator manager person, but not as an author. I was still like a newbie when it came to like that persona, that part of my brand. There's a lot of like, there's a method to the madness. That's why I gave all
Yeah. Yeah.
things,
No, I think
right?
it's good, but when there's so many options, then
Yeah.
it's you get that analysis paralysis and I
Yeah.
can't make a decision. So I think that's excellent. So then let me ask a nitty-gritty question.
Yeah, I like
Whi-
nitty gritty. Yeah,
Spill
let's
the
get into
tea
it.
here for me, Alyssa,
Yeah.
and let me know. So which events do you find you get paid more for, and which events do you find you sell more books at? Because I'm wondering if
Yeah.
those are two different answers or not.
It is sort of two different answers. So I get paid most from school visits,
Oh, okay.
because I'm less flexible with what my rate is because it's like the school visits are a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And also like there's a budget that the school has for it, whether it's coming directly from the school or whether it's being funded by the PTA. So that's usually who I make like what I get paid the most from. And
For
in terms
each
of
visit.
for each visit, yeah.
Okay.
In
Okay.
terms of book sales, it depends. Some schools will buy a copy for each kid.
That's great.
Hmm.
Amazing. Other schools will buy one copy per classroom, which is also
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then I created like an order form that schools can also use to then send to the parents. Like a month before the author visit, it's like, hey, send this out to the parents. That way, if parents want to buy a copy for their kid, and I can personalize it on the day of. And that is what really fluctuates and depends. At some schools, the parents are like, this is so cool. And then like a ton of orders, right? And
Yeah.
there are other schools that I'll get like one. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like,
Okay. Okay.
and there's a lot of factors that play into it, like
Sure.
socioeconomic
Yeah.
factors. How soon did the school actually send it out to the parents?
Mm.
Did they only send it on like the virtual class dojo? Do they also send a hard copy, even though I recommend both? At the end of the day, I'm not physically in the school doing all of those logistics. So there's 101 reasons why. And I just like have no expectations when it comes to that, honestly, just because you're gonna be disappointed.
So you send the forms home, theoretically, if the
Yeah.
school does that. And I remember Friday folders.
Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
so you send the forms home, and then presumably they
Well,
would
hopefully they send the forms home, right?
yeah,
Like
hopefully. And
through the
then if
school.
they what happens is they would purchase the book and the child would bring it in on the day of, right? Versus you bringing a stack of books.
So it depends on the school. I usually work with an indie bookstore. I love my
Mm.
indies. So like the order form has the information on like how they can order the books, and then they get the books from the indie. So like for author visits that are in the Philadelphia area, I work with a bookstore called Julia de Burgos. For ones that are in New York, I work with the Lit Bar. For ones that are like in the Bronx, I work with the Lit Bar. For ones that are in Brooklyn, I work with Café con Libro. So I have like my like connections, right?
Oh, that's great. And they
Um,
deliver the books the same day you're there then? Or
Usually a little bit before, but yeah,
oh,
sometimes
okay.
like the day of. Yeah.
That's
Nice.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
great.
So it works because then I don't have to lug them. And then, you get to it's like an ecosystem, right? So it's like I'm eating, so you eat too, right? Like I'm
Exactly.
too. And it's like then it also helps because like if the bookstore is gets an inquiry about author visits, like I'm more front of mind than an author who hasn't supported them in that capacity, right? So it's like the
Yeah,
whole like reciprocity thing.
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So Julie, you said you had a couple of questions?
Yeah. So you mentioned if you do 100,
Inquiries.
inquiries, that you're going to get some bites. And it kind of reminded me of the submissions in general,
It
right? Like
doesn't
for
end.
every
Yeah.
10 books you write, maybe one is going to sell kind of
Yeah.
thing. And so what do you think your uptake is? And do you have a process so that you streamline that upfront? Because it sounds like a lot of work,
It
sending
is.
out all of these
Hmm.
inquiries, and then like what percentage would you say that
Yeah.
you get back? And one follow-up question, sorry,
Mhm.
is do you feel that increasing as you get more well-known and you have more books out?
Yeah. So when I first started again, and I was like that unknown entity, and also the timing of when my book came out, it was a weird time because it was testing season and then it's like summer mode. So I actually didn't book any school visits until the next school year in like September. But all of that work that I had done beforehand was great because what I did is I worked with bookstores, I did some library events, and I invited educators to those events. And they saw me in action and they were like, "Oh my God, I got to bring her to my school." And then they did. So, having that experience leads to like more referrals. So like when I first started out, I was probably sending out like 20 emails a week, which is not a lot, but it feels like a lot because I had to like find the contact, right? Like I had to find who the vice principal was, who the literacy specialist is, who the ELA person is, do they have a librarian, right? Like and like kind of go through that list of like, okay, they have a librarian, cool, I'm going to reach out to them first. Oh, they don't have a librarian, let me see if they have a literacy specialist. Oh, they don't have a literacy specialist, do they have a literacy coach? Okay, I guess I'm just going to have to bother the vice principal and like figuring that out and like going through their Rolodex for each school. It was a lot, but all of that was worth it because like I would probably get like a 1%. I mean, not a 1%, a 10% response rate. So if I reached out to 10 schools, I got one yes. And
Okay.
then,
Mhm.
but that one yes would turn into three yeses
Mhm.
because a lot of folks know each other. So it's like I would do the author visit and then they would be like, "Oh my God, I gotta put you in touch with this teacher friends. Oh, my cousin is a teacher at this school. Oh, my in-law works at this school." And so like it works that way because a lot of these schools get a lot of inquiries from people like
Sure.
me that are reaching out. And it's like if you're an unproven entity, it's like they don't know if you're worth the money. And this is no shade to authors, no shade at all. Some authors are amazing authors, but they're not the best presenters. And I don't mean that like with any disrespect, but like you can be,
It's a different skill
it
set.
For
is.
sure it is, which
It's
is
like,
why I don't do a ton of school visits because I enjoy them when I do them and I think they
right.
go well, but I'm not convinced that it's my special gift by any means.
Right. And that's important to know, right? Like if you're going to do this, there's so many ways that you can market your book. So the key is like to do that self-analysis. Like whenever I work with my clients, I'm like, all right. They're like, "Oh, how can I get more school visits? How can I get this? How can I do that?" And I was like, "We're gonna get there, but first, what are you good at? And what do you enjoy doing?" Like I focus
Right.
on school visits because I actually enjoy it and I'm really good at it. And like I am good at it and I know that I am because at the end like all the kids give me like hugs and I have boxes upon boxes of fan mail and then it leads to more events. This
That's
past
amazing.
year I've had to send out zero outreach emails
Wow.
Wow.
and
That's
I was fully
incredible.
booked. So it started off with me sending out 20 plus emails a week and getting like
Right.
one, maybe two yeses to not having to do any outreach at all.
So when
That's
you
incredible.
say you're fully booked, how frequent? Like, I mean, I'm sure every author sets their own schedule, right? But what does that
Yeah.
mean for you?
About like 50 visits in a year for
Okay.
me.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot,
Yeah.
given.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel
It's
like it's a lot, but
probably
only because when I talk to other authors, they're like, yeah, I probably do like 5 or 10. And I was like, okay, cool. And they're like, how many do you do? And I'm like, 50. And then they all give me that look of like, what? And I'm like, a lot. Um,
But again, it's what you
it's
love
what
to
I enjoy doing.
do, and it's part of
right.
why you wanted to be an author. I remember this because part of the reason I wanted you to come talk to 12 by 12 was because I took your a similar workshop that you
Yes,
did, highlights,
with
or
highlights.
which
Yeah.
is now
Boyd and
Boyd's
Mills.
Mills,
Yes, yes,
which I'm
yes,
gonna
yes.
have to remind myself every time. So you also now work with a booking agent. How does that work? Do they set up school visits at all, or is that for different types of?
Yeah, so I do have a booking agent. I started off with that one as most people do. And I was doing all of the logistics, all that myself, which wasn't such a heavy lift because I would have been a program manager for about 10 years. So it was a nice way to like transfer those skills. But having the booking agent is nice just because then I can focus on writing, right?
What?
Which is important, right? And I also am very busy because I have 3 kiddos. So
Right.
I have a 6-year-old and I have 20, yeah, they're still 19 months, 19-month-old twin.
Wow.
So,
Aw.
between all of those things, even though it is a skill that I have, sometimes being able to outsource is nice. So typically the way that it works for me, because I do so much of my own marketing, I have like a form that schools or organizations fill out, and then I'll look at it. If it's an organization that I've worked with like 101 times, I'll just take care of it myself, just because it's like I have a rapport with them and it would just kind of be more work to get them up to speed.
Right,
Um,
right.
so like there's some nonprofits that I work with that they pay me less than my typical honorarium.
Hmm.
But I still do it because they book me multiple times a year, if that makes sense. Wouldn't be profitable for my booking agent to like book it for me. So I get them all and then I funnel them out. So like when I get the forms, I forward it to my booking agent and then she does the booking for it. But some I book myself just because of that history. Like there's like
Hmm.
some key
Yeah,
specific
no, that makes
that
sense.
I work.
Yeah. So,
But yeah.
so here's something I'm curious about,
Mhm.
and because I'm coming at this oftentimes from the other end
Yeah.
as somebody who books speakers.
Yes.
I prefer to reach out to them directly, like I
Yeah.
did for
Mhm.
you, right?
Mhm.
But sometimes
Yes.
I end up going through a booking agent.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm curious about is, do you want to be notified of every request that comes in? Or do you let the booking agent decide that? And the reason I'm asking, because
Mhm.
is because sometimes when I have had to go first through booking agents because it's
Yeah.
literally the only way to reach
Contact them.
somebody, sometimes it will just be a no
Yeah.
because the honorarium isn't,
Too low or
it's too low or whatever.
yeah.
And it's interesting because a few times I've actually run into the people that I've made those requests of and had a
Yeah.
conversation, and they're like, "Oh, I would love to do that with you," because there can be reasons why
Outside of money. a
you
hundred.
Right.
you you might want
Yeah.
to. And so that's why I'm asking, because
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like if it's just a monetary threshold, do they just not tell you if it's not profitable for them or what?
Probably, but that's why I get all the requests.
Uh,
So when you go on my website, I don't list my booking agent's information on there. I get
Oh, okay.
everything first and then I funnel it out. So I make that decision. And also because part of my form, when people reach out to me, I ask them is how did you find out about me? Because I always
mm,
Mm,
have my marketing hat on. So when I'm when someone reaches out to me, I want to know, oh, okay, you took the class with Boyd Mills. Cool. That's a good vehicle for me to continue to do what I'm doing, right? Like
Right.
found
Right.
out about me through the Latinx Storyteller Conference. Cool. That is worth me continuing to do, right? So all of the contacts for every point of contact comes through me. And sometimes there's a little bit of a bottleneck. Yeah. Sometimes I might not get back to you. No, whoever within within like 24 hours. No, it might take a week, but it all comes through me. And then I assess, okay, this one's a good one for my booking agent, or I'm gonna handle this one. So like you reached out to me directly, and I'm like, there's no point in me roping in my booking agent for this, right? Um,
Right.
so I handled it myself. And so that's kind of the way that I do it. I know my booking agent probably doesn't love that, but you
That's
know,
how I would want to do it too, because I'm a little bit of a control freak that
I'm a little
way.
bit of a control freak too. Not with everything, but like I'm a control freak in this capacity because I do so much marketing and I want to know how people find out about me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know how to continue to invest my time or de-invest my time, right?
Right.
So it's
Right.
like
Right.
it's less about I don't think my booking agent is capable. I wouldn't have gone with the booking agent if I didn't think they were capable, and more of like I'm collecting data and I need to know this information. And
Right.
also, I'm not gonna like loop you in because then instead of you asking me permission every time for something, it's like, no, I'll make the decision whether or not I want to
Right.
or not. And then after I make that decision, it's like, do I handle logistics or am I gonna have my booking agent handle logistics?
Hmm.
Right.
That's
That
what
makes
works for me.
sense. I'm going to change to your author hat really quick.
Yeah.
In the webinar, you mentioned that you came to reading really late, and part of
Yeah.
that was language involved and all of those things. And I'll let you talk about whatever you want to talk about in that regard. But my question was, how does that influence what you write and how you write for kids?
Absolutely. Oh, I love this question. I don't think anyone asked me this before. So I actually didn't learn how to read until I was in fourth grade, because I was an English language learner. I was
Mhm.
really like a good kid, perfect attendance, did everything that I was supposed to. So I kept getting promoted and I was a no child left behind kid, that whole thing. And I also was really good at math and science. I love
Ah.
math, still love science to this day. I think in another life I probably would have been like a biologist, but I didn't go that route because I thought you could only be a doctor and I'm squeamish as all hell. So I was just like, okay,
That's
I
fair.
can't
That's fair.
can't do that. I think like looking back, I probably would have been like a botanist, like Robin
Yeah.
Kilmer, who I'm like obsessed with. But anyways, um, yeah, I didn't learn how to read until fourth grade, and it's actually what my book Gloriana Presente is about.
Ah.
And Mr. DeSalvo, who's the teacher that's featured in the book, is actually my fourth grade teacher and the one who really like invested a lot of time and energy into me to help me like get over that hump and learn how to read. Um,
Oh.
the other thing that happened is during parent teacher conference night, I was in third grade. My third grade teacher told my mom that I would have to get left back and like cried during parent teacher conference night. The universe did what it was supposed to do. And the principal, the first Latina principal, happened to be walking by parent teacher conference while my mom is crying, and the principal recognized my mom and was like, what's going on? And she like told her the whole thing, and the principal gave my mom her CDs of Hooked on Phonics for
Wow.
her son.
Wow.
And then my mom gave it to me and she said, for my birthday this year, I want you to learn how to read. And so I watched Hooked on Phonics every single day and I taught myself how to read enough
Wow.
to pass and be promoted to the fourth grade. And then in fourth grade, Mr. DeSalvo helped me, even more. And then by fifth grade, I was in the number one class.
Wow.
Wow. That's
So,
incredible.
like it was for me when I write, all of that to say, when I write, kids are super smart. And
Yes.
so a lot of times when I'm writing, people are like, "Oh, this is so like beautiful and lyrical and poetic." And I'm like, "Yeah, because kids can handle it, right?" So I don't dumb things down when I'm writing for kids. But at the same time, I try to make it so that kids will actually want to read it, right? So like I engage all of their senses and I use dialogue in fun ways that when I'm reading it out loud, it makes it like an experience, right? So I'm always thinking of like me as a kid, but also now that I'm a mom, like how would this be interesting for my daughter? And my daughter
Right.
does not hold back. She will, she's very honest.
I wonder where she got that from.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised.
Right.
Also, I'm that way, but also her dad is that way. So she was,
She
yeah.
didn't have a chance.
Kids will
She did
throw
not.
you under the bus so
Yeah.
fast. It
So
is
fast.
what I'll tell you a quick anecdote.
Yeah.
When I was doing one of my first school visits, when I think it was my second book came out,
Yeah.
and my son was in second grade,
Yeah.
and I was in front of his class, and I,
Uh-oh.
you know, did a whole presentation,
Yeah.
and he raised his hand right away.
Mhm.
And when I don't know if you ever presented to your kid's school, but I was like trying to ignore him.
Right. No.
And
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
right.
Uh-oh.
But then it kept going.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so finally I called on him and he asked me if I could read a book by his favorite author, which was not me. I was like,
That
wow, okay, and the librarian was like, So yeah.
Can you not read your book that you came here to read and
Right.
instead
Well,
read?
I mean, from his perspective, he's heard this book a million times, right?
Right. What else you
But
got?
it's just funny. They will absolutely shred you if they
And
think that.
unintentionally, like they're
No, absolutely
but
unintentionally.
honest.
They're just, they're honest. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Your kids are nicer than mine. My kids would do it intentionally, 100%. But that's okay. I do the same to them. So, Alyssa, that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you too, is what are some funny stories you have from school visits? Just crazy things kids have said to you or
a couple things to keep in mind. Kids, they will wow you with some of their questions. Like there have been times that I'm like, literally like a student will ask me a question that like stops me dead in my tracks, which is like amazing. I remember one of the students when I was actually reading Gloriana Presente had said, do you think you would have still written this book if you already knew English coming into school? Because a big part of the story is not just her first day of school anxieties, but it's also the English language learner. And I had to really think about it because I don't know if I would have, like there's a lot of first day of school books already out there that tackle with like first day of school anxieties and first day of school jitters. But like my jitters really rooted from an area of like, I don't know how to communicate with anyone. Like I'm an extrovert. I like talking to people. Talking to people is not what scares me. It's will you understand me?
Right.
Scary, right?
But that really makes sense because if that story is kind of based on your lived experience, and had you not lived that experience, you wouldn't have had that story to tell necessarily.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. And so like there's times that students are just so perceptive that way and just ask like such an amazing question that it's just like, really like let me think on that actually. And then there's always the standard questions they always ask. The three questions I always get. How did you get here? They always want to hear like if I got here like on a limo, right?
You mean literally, and not like your life
idea of like, authors, right?
Yeah, no, you must be rich and famous.
Yeah.
Did you get your own private helicopter that landed on the roof?
Right. Precisely. So it's always funny because then when I'm like, oh, I took the train here, they're like, the train? And I'm like, yes, I took the train like a normal person. And they're always like, then they laugh, And so how did I get here is always one. How old I am, that's always fun because they always ask and the teachers are always like, you're not supposed to ask. You're not supposed to ask. And I always answer. I'm very like, unapologetic about my age. I think that's a weird societal convention, just like how we don't talk about money. That's the third one. They're always like, how much money do you make? And I'm like, well, and I'm very honest. I'm like, most authors don't make a lot of money just off their books. We have to like diversify our income and do other things. And that's why I'm standing here. Well, it's also because I love kids. And they're like,
Yeah.
okay, and so they always ask about money. They always ask how I got there, and they always ask how old I am. And the teacher's always like, shh, 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 don't ask about don't ask about how old she is. And I'm always like, I don't care. I'll answer. Because I think in our society we need to just there's weird rules that were established that I'm just like, meh. Those are
Right.
Do you ever ask them how old they think you are? Because I always love that question.
whoa.
It depends on the group, because if it's like
Right.
sometimes when I have some of my school visits, I do like 3 sessions in a day, kindergarten and first in one session, second and third in another, fourth and fifth in another. So when I have like a big group like that, I don't always ask because that's too, and then they feel left out if they don't get to shout out their answer, and then it gets harder to reel them back in, right? So
100%.
it's a case by case situation. If I'm only doing one grade level, or if I'm only doing one class, then yes, I'll ask them like, so how old do you think I am, to the student who asked me, and then they will always never disappoint. Like it's you're 105, and I'm like, 105, I would be in the ground probably, and they're like, what? So it's always a good time because you just never know. Like I have probably read Platanos or Love over 100 times at this point easily, and every visit is different because it's a different set of kids,
But which is amazing. That's amazing.
Younger.
Yes.
I can vividly remember standing outside in front of my house waiting for the bus.
Yes.
At like 5 years old, and somebody talking about being 20, and I was like, oh, so old. Like you couldn't even imagine being that old.
No.
Okay.
I remember when I thought 30 was old.
Right?
Exactly.
And
I remember when I thought 40 was old.
The bar
is old now.
The bar just keeps moving, right? So all right. So we like to end on a question for our authors, which is, what is a book that you wish you had written and why?
There's so many. I'm obsessed with The Last Cuentista by Donna Balba Higuera. She's also my mentor. And
it was a great book. I read that. Yeah.
So good. Probably hands down one of my favorite books of all time. And then I read the second one in the series, Alebrijes. So good. And now the third one just came out, which I haven't read just yet, but I'm like itching. I'm chomping at the bit and waiting for like things to settle down for me, just a teeny tiny bit, so then I can read it. So that series by Donna. Another is Octavia Butler's Kindred. So those are like the novels. Picture books. The list is endless. I love watercress. I'm a forager as well. So like I love hang out, and like my daughter and I would go out and identify. I was like, oh, that's garlic mustard. And she's like, let's pull it. And I'm like, yeah. Because garlic mustard is highly invasive and it actually kills other plants. So it's actually a good thing if you pick it, and it makes delicious pesto, right? So like,
wow.
It was so funny. The first time she went out into the woods with someone that wasn't me, like with a family member, she was just like picking stuff and popping it in her mouth. And my sister almost had a conniption. She's like, she's like, no. She's like, it's wood sorrel. It's okay. Here, try some. And my sister's like, what in the world? And so she calls me immediately, and she's just like, what are you doing? And I was like, well, you know that I do this. She's like, yeah, but she's a kid. And I'm like, and who cares? So she knows like all of these different plants. I was like, she knows what she can eat and she knows what she can't eat. And my sister was just like a ball of nerves, because she's like, she's gonna eat the wrong thing. And I was like, no, she's really smart. She's 6, but like she knows, like if she doesn't know what it is, don't eat it.
Right.
What it is, and she knows that it's okay. you know. So she went about and she's like picking her wood sorrel, and then she spotted a mulberry tree, and she's like, oh, look, mulberries. And then she like walks over to the tree and starts picking berries, and my sister's just like having a panic attack. She doesn't have any kids of her own. She's my younger sister, and so sometimes she like, help out.
Yeah. Well, it's a
And
lot of responsibility to take somebody else's kid out and be like, I want to make sure I get them back to you.
We've all heard, listen, like all of the fairy tales begin with some kid wandering in the woods, eating something that they shouldn't eat.
Like Hansel and Gretel.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Poison apples, poison berries, you name it. I can kind of relate. Yeah.
But yeah, I love that book. Like it does such a good job at dealing with like so many big topics.
Yes.
The culture of foraging and removing that stigma, and then also grief, and then the history, and famine and
Oh my goodness. It's a perfect picture book. It really is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
good.
watercress
I love
is
it
just
so much.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So many levels.
I think that would be it. There's more, but
Oh, right.
Ask me tomorrow and I might have a different answer.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Because we all keep reading, right?
Yeah,
right,
So that's why the answer should change over time.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having this fun after party with us. And if you're listening and you want lots more on booking and speaking and events for authors, you can get a 25% discount on Alyssa's webinar. Just go to 12 by 12 challenge. That's 12x12 challenge.com/gig. I'm making it really simple this week.
I like that.
12 by 12 challenge/gig.
We really talked about author visits in this podcast episode, but there are literally like 10 or 12 other things that Alyssa talks about in that webinar of different gigs that you can book as an author and ways to reach out and who to reach out to and all of that. So this podcast episode was just one little tiny speck of what we talk about in that 90 minutes of a webinar. So if you're looking to diversify your author presenting portfolio and maybe, another stream of income for yourself, this is definitely, Alyssa really is great about laying it all out and giving all sorts of ideas. So I highly recommend it.
I would go so far as to say that getting that webinar will probably pay for itself very quickly if you...
In one gig, probably.
Yeah,
especially with the 25% off. So
right. So again, 12by12challenge.com/gig. Alyssa, thank you so much. And we're gonna go get our gig on. All right.
Now school is winding down.
That's right.
Now is the perfect time to watch that for sure.
And I also want to say thank you for the light and energy that you bring. This is our second, you and I have been on Zoom together 2 times now, and each time I just feel uplifted and energized and excited, and just thank you for that light that you bring to the world, Alyssa.
Absolutely.
Yes. Happy to work with you guys again, because you guys are amazing and you're sharing really valuable information that I feel like people don't know about. Publishing is such a weird industry.
So weird.
Mystery.
The weirdest.
Intrigue.
Yeah. Exactly.
You do a really good job at like peeling back the curtain.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Do it together so never you fear. It's a handy little way to help you kick into gear. You're amazing, exciting. Look out, 'cause you're writing 12 by 12. 12 manuscripts. 12 by 12. 12 picture books. 12 by 12.